Students, in this class we will be studying about the next type of ellipses centered at h, k. In the previous class we studied about ellipses that were centered at the origin 0, 0. In today's class the ellipses are centered at h, k. And the major axis is parallel to the x-axis. Now what exactly does that mean? Now we got the x-axis here and the y-axis. Okay, so this is 0, 0. Now this ellipse which we are talking as its center at h, k. So that means it is not going to be lying at 0, 0, but say at some other point over here, h, k. Now if you were to take this as the center of the ellipse and draw the ellipse, then the ellipse would be something like this. Okay, so this is the center point. So I'm drawing the ellipse with this as the center. Okay, now you got A here, A dash here, and this is the foci S and S dash, the latest rectum L and L dash, M and M dash. Now the major axis, AA dash is the major axis, AA dash is the major axis. Okay, and it is parallel to x-axis. Okay, that is an important observation. Of course, this is the minor axis BB dash. Okay, so this will be the form of the ellipse. Now the vertex, so before we could go to the vertex, the center, let us write the center. The center of the ellipse is going to be h, k. Okay, that's first observation. The second observation is the vertices. Okay, the vertices coordinate A is given to be as h positive A, k, and A dash is given to be as h minus A, k. So this is very critical. Now the foci, the next important point is the foci. See, the foci is given to be as S of h positive C, k and h negative C, k. So this is very important. Okay, and of course C squared is equal to A squared negative B squared. Okay, this is also the relationship I've already mentioned. So the distance between the foci and the center, they would be the same distance. Of course, the figure is not to scale because this point is a little bit away, so don't worry about it. So the exact understanding is that the distance between the center and S, and as well as the distance between the center and S dash are going to be same. I can state it here. The foci are C units from the center. Okay, so the distance between the center and S as well as the distance between the center and S dash will be C units on both sides. So I can specify it on either sides. Students, this is the next case. The shape of the ellipse will be vertical fashion instead of being in horizontal fashion. The reason being the major axis is parallel to the y-axis and the form is x negative h raised to the power 2 divided by b squared positive y negative k raised to the power 2 divided by a squared. is equal to 1, and in all of these cases remember that a squared is greater than b squared. In all of the cases that we have studied this far, a squared is always greater than b squared. So if we were to draw this ellipse, then the shape of the ellipse would be as follows. Now this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. Now the center is somewhere over here, h comma k. Let us assume it to be there. Now the axis, okay, this is the axis. It's passing through the center. Okay, so we've got the foci. The foci will be along this axis, so it's going to be S and S dash. Okay, now if I were to draw the ellipse would be something like this. So these would be the minor axis, this is the major axis. Okay, this is the major axis, so have that in mind. So if I were to write this as A and this to be as A dash, we would be having the following informations. Of course the focus also will be changing. So I'm going to write the information for this particular ellipse. So let me do that. Center is at h comma k. I'm already mentioned to you it's h comma k. And then the major axis is parallel to y-axis. Okay, I have just mentioned this is the major axis, it's parallel to the y-axis. This point is 0, 0. Now the foci, or before we could go to the foci, let us talk about the vertices. The vertices of the ellipse. So we got A and A dash, so and that was going to be A of h comma k positive A and A dash of h comma k negative A. That is the vertex. The foci of the ellipse, foci of the ellipse. So what are the foci of the ellipse? That is going to be S of h comma k plus c and S dash of h comma k negative c. Okay, so having obtained all of this, of course the distance between the center and S dash and center and S are going to be equal, and that is going to be c units, and also c squared is equal to a squared negative b squared. So these are some of the informations that you need to know about this type. So having obtained this, let us do related questions.